thank you for tuning in, by the way. Thank you for liking, subscribing, supporting the show, Venmo, that kind of stuff. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Think about it. When you think about it, you're like, nah, that's okay. I appreciate the thought. It's the cash that counts. I'm kidding. All right. So yesterday, because I had to cut the show short because I had a Nerd Halen show, which was awesome. I showed a video that I wanted to cover because it had all the markings of a perfect description of the self-involved bullshittery of one Glenn Beck. Here, seen broadcasting live from his Tucson rec room where he pretends to paint, where he literally went to one of those stores that sells stuff that, like if you were an alien and you needed to pretend to have a personality, they could supply you with one. You could just buy, this is a rug that will make it seem like you have traveled. Here are pillows to match. Also a dog picture. Also, very popular is a Coca-Cola item from the early 50s or 60s. Also, here's some fishing gear that is unusable but looks well used. Here is a giant word that we don't know why it applies. Does it say sport? Does it say spurt? Only you really know for sure. Here are some skis that are too old for you to have ever used, but just real enough to make people snicker at the idea of you trying to ski. So this is and again, I think this is that part's new, this blanket part of it, and whatever this plug is over here, that's changed. But so this is called Glenn's Solar Panel Nightmare could be Biden's future for America. So solar is a problem, such a problem that Glenn Beck apparently tried to go solar, and it was a nightmare.
Growing fascistic movement with actual teeth attached to it.
Oh no! I hate being gummed by fascists.
This isn't like, oh, he's a fascist. I will show you what they're doing that is literally fascistic in nature.
Literally fascistic in nature. There's a lot of couching in those phrases. It's literally, figuratively something that might be nothing but could be.
Literally, by the actual dictionary definition of the word fascism.
Which I'm sure you'll bring up.
Let me start with this. If we were building nuclear power plants and we were encouraging hydrogen use for our automobiles, I would be so deep into it. It is the answer. Between nuclear power, which is the cleanest and safest form of energy the world has ever seen. Stu, can you back that up? The safest.
Well, except for the bombs made from the byproduct. I mean, if you want to talk thorium reactors, or you want to find a way to make sure people, if you don't include the weapons, sure.
Form of energy in the history of the world.
Yes, I agree with that analysis.
Yes. Better than French fry grease, Stu? Better than natural gas? That was wrong. I went too far. I had to clean up my pants.
Okay, thank you for those stats.
You just said it was the safest.
Color man. He's a good color.
Yes, Glenn.
Oh, he's a color man.
Confirmed number one on the list. I don't know what stat you want to. The number one is.
No, because I know.
Look. I know my job here, Glenn. It's just whatever you say. Agree with it. I get it. I don't know. I can only agree so much when you say such rando bullshit.
I know you're into these things.
Yeah. I know you're into these things. Yeah. How do you fit it in, Stu? With all the time you spend in your day working out.
No, I know you're into these things, and I know that that you have looked through the history. Everybody thinks it's so dangerous, but it is not.
Yeah.
It's not dangerous, especially.
Well, no, it is dangerous, but it's mitigatory danger And compared to say the danger of the impact of the climate of petrochemicals and fossil fuels, yeah, it's superior. And if we'd advanced it in a way that we weren't trying to make weapons grade plutonium and uranium out of these reactors to make bombs, that arguably they'd be a huge negative would be taken off the list.
In the United States. So if we were pursuing this and opening these babies up and letting them run at full capacity at night, and when nobody's using electricity, making hydrogen for our cars, it would be a miracle. It would be a miracle. It would be everything we're looking for.
No, nuclear diamond batteries from carbon-14 left over from both fossil fuel plants and nuclear reactors. That would be the miracle. It's a 28,000-year battery that runs on its own. It doesn't have to be charged because it is charging. It is emitting. Never mind.
Good for the planet, safe, effective.
And by the way, Glenn's been watching some of my videos.
And we could move on with our lives. We would be world leaders.
Glenn, you're never going to move on with your life. Even if that happens, you're never going to move on, Glenn.
Again,
you make a living as Chicken Little. You have monetized doom scrolling amongst a small sliver of the populace, and you got to milk that sucker till it's dry.
Almost everything, if we just did that. But that's not what we're doing. Instead, we are doing solar panels and wind power.
By the way, we're not just doing solar panels and wind power. Hold on. Hold on one second. Hold on. I've got it. I'm getting shut off by. Here you go. Just in case. It just gets,
Let me tell
you this.
About solar panels.
All right. They're full of chemicals. They're made in China. They're created by the tears of Uyghurs.
If solar panels were something that would work.
If solar panels were something that would work. All right. Solar efficiency trend. Oops, hold on one second. Hold on. I'm getting scholarly articles. If solar energy was something that could work, if it could work, scientists keep on pushing the efficiency of solar panels higher and higher. And there's a new record to report. A new solar cell has hit 39.5% efficiency under standard 1 sun global illumination conditions. That one sun marker is simply a standardized way of measuring a fixed amount of sunlight when you're not on Tatooine. And almost 40% of that radiation can now be converted into electricity. The previous record for this type of solar panel material was 39.2% efficiency. There are more types of solar panels around than you might have realized. The type used here, triple junction 3V tandem solar cells, are often deployed in satellites and space vehicles, though they have plenty of potential here on solid ground as well. The new cell is more efficient and has a simpler design that may be useful for a variety of new applications, such as highly area-constrained applications or low-radiation space applications. The triple junction part of the equation is part terms of the efficiency of the solar cell. Each junction concentrates on a particular part of the cell. I'm not telling Glenn anything he doesn't know.
I'd be all for solar panels.
What's the tipping point? How much expended energy versus captured energy is necessary from use point, including deaths over fossil fuels, for example? That would be, where's the tipping point for Glenn? What do you think? 18%? What's the thermal calories or whatever per megawatt or whatever he's what's his standard?
This broadcast is being powered now by solar, wind, and natural gas.
See that? I mean, I was wondering what Glenn was going to do for Pride, and his show seemed more commie and gay and honestly more minority and abortion-y. And I think that's why. I think all his message is being filtered through it's sun-powered now. And like he is, so the blaze is off the grid using current technology. What the fuck? He's got solar wind.
By solar, wind, and natural gas. Natural gas only if we get into trouble and we don't have.
Well, obviously, so you're running, the Glenn Beck show is running on 100% natural gas. Thanks, Stu. Thanks for pulling.
Have enough power for the broadcast. But it has taken me 11 very long and expensive years to get the solar panel system up.
Fucko, the technology is behind in its advancements because Jimmy Carter put solar panels on the White House and Reagan took them off. If the advancements that we're making in solar cells are not because of AI or some giant advancement in computer technology. There's some minor tweaks. You're talking about they're getting into the narrow areas where it's making the 0.2% difference. But the huge advances that brought it from like 8 to 12% efficiency to 25% to 30% efficiency, that all could have been done in the 80s. But somebody stepped on the hose on purpose. Same thing with electric cars. Most of the advances in battery technology and all the stuff that goes with it, we'd be friggin' 20 years ahead of where we are. Brains haven't changed in size, except yours, Glenn, clearly gotten smaller and less walnutty, smoother.
And hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not something the average American...
Why didn't you build your own nuclear hydrogen plant? Is it your penis? It's because your penis doesn't work anymore, isn't it? It's gotten smaller. It's probably the soy. Talk to Alex Jones. He's got a pill for it. It won't work, but you can take it. Maybe it'll have the placebo effect. You can both cry.
Or the average company can do.
Well, yeah. If you were an early adopter, I guess, and you weren't trying to get off the grid because you thought the world was ending. The rest of us are like, no, the world's going to stick around, and I hope it gets cheaper and more advanced. That'd be nice. I have solar panels on my house. My house is being powered by solar.
I'd love to have the Blaze be the first green network that would...
No, you don't. because that's them's fighting words. And again, why is Stu not tinkering with a thorium reactor right now? Cut to Stu, just bzzzt, bzzzt.
Was all solar energy and wind power, but it's impossible to do.
Right.
It's too expensive.
Well, yeah, but it's getting cheaper all the time because of investment and advances. You know what was expensive in the beginning too? Cars. Yeah, that's right. Glenn, I don't know if you know, but there was a time when only rich people could afford cars for a very long time. And they drove like 8 gallons to the mile. Yeah. Stories like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came out of that. Yeah, it was one-of-a-kind vehicles. That was it. And then we reached a point where poor people have multiple cars. I knew people who had pieces of cars hanging from trees in front of their house. Not just the tires, but the engine block as well.
And it's not reliable. I can't tell you how, if you are listening to this.
Well, yeah, if this show is any indication, Glenn, whatever you're doing, it's unreliable.
Broadcast today.
Why is Glenn Beck dressed like an early 2000s rapper? It's I don't know. This is like because his cowboy hat was in the cleaners and he was doing Cowboy Angel Glenn Beck.
You're hearing delays, and the reason why you're hearing delays is I don't have internet. I am.
The fuck does that have to do? What?
I'm here on an isolated kind of mountaintop.
Yes, you chose to be off the grid, and therefore you do not benefit from the grid.
And I don't have all of the electricity, all of everything coming in.
Dude, okay, well, here's a good idea. Turn off the sports sign and turn on your router. How about that? You know, 6 of one, half dozen of another. You got every light in the place on. Why are you in 2 rooms doing the show? What? Why is Stu in the studio with all those goddamn screens on? And
I have to create everything myself.
Boo, fuckity hoo. No, you don't.
So we're having to use all kinds of different technology. And let me tell you, when you come off the grid, when you start to do things differently,
it requires more effort. Yeah, fuck you. You got off the grid too early. So what? No. I want to live in an underground bunker. No. Where I can hide and hunker. No. I eat chicken, salt, and pepper. Oh, no. I got blues because I'm a prepper. That's right. I got the prepper blues. Yeah. I went off the grid too early this time. Ow. Oh, yeah. I got them prepper blues. And I got this long, creamy, poorly formed poos. That pancake batter get me every time, all right?
you almost have to reinvent everything.
Yes. You obviously, Glenn bought that sports sign, for example, but he didn't buy the lit one, the old one, because it had lights on the inside of it. So he decided to get his own light rope from Home Depot and line it up himself. And obviously he did this himself because it started to drop. The double-sided tape got heated up because he got the old LEDs. Fucking, when you don't want to participate in society, it's fucking rough.
Right now, my farm, we bought our diesel fuel for our tractors.
How dare you? You bought diesel fuel? What kind of off the grid is this? You're engaging in commerce with external sovereign entities? What's wrong? You can't grow a diesel cow and milk it?
We spent filling that tank up, that underground tank,
Uh-huh.
We spent as much money filling it up once this spring as we spend filling it up all summer long into the fall last year.
Yeah, because everything was extra cheap. And wait a minute. You're just burning diesel like on what? What are you doing with these tractors now? What are you doing, wheelies?
This cannot last.
No, I agree. I think Operation Hollowed Out Volcano for Glenn Beck has been a massive failure.
But is Biden doing anything about it? No.
No, he's not doing anything about fuckers who want to be off the grid. He's too busy trying to fix the grid. He literally passed an infrastructure bill to improve the smart grid dum-dum so that people who have a lot of solar panels in their states can sell some of the energy. Windy states with a lot of wind and natural gas can sell it to states that, I guess, wherever the fuck you are, the only mountaintop that's in total darkness with no wind.
Oh. Instead, what he is doing is fascistic.
Oh, okay. Fascistic. He's fascisting. What is he doing? And we're back to the definition of this. Fuck me. What is he talking about? Again, it's like a sovereign citizen bitching they can't get a credit card. Like, motherfucker, you want to be an isolated human, not attached to the government or the country that you live in. You want all the rights and privileges and none of the responsibilities. And suddenly it's our fucking fault? Asshole, you left. Glenn's like a little kid standing at the end of the driveway with a suitcase going, I'm running away.
Yesterday, he invoked the Defense Production Act.
Uh-huh.
Not for oil, not for diesel, not for anything, but for solar panels. Do you know how long and how much money it will take to get solar panels, enough of them, into play to defray any of your costs for heating? By the way, if you live in...
Yeah, it's not for that purpose, dummy. He released gas from the strategic reserves. They're talking to other countries about raising production. He's allowing drilling on public lands. This is the fascist part. So he's fascistically, because government and industry, right? I don't think, hold on. It's this or break the back of working people with the cost of the removal of Russian oil and gas because the rest of the world is buying oil and gas like crazy. And when you do it on public lands versus private lands, we get more of it. It goes, a percentage of it goes into the strategic reserves, fills that back up, and can be released to lower the price if this continues on at a pace for a time. I don't think Glenn's going to bring up this. Do you think? Think he's going to factor this in? Nah. The fascist solar. Remember Hitler's big solar push? It was right after he tried to get everybody to go vegan.
Fat chance.
Sorry. Oh, right. Seattle's too misty and
for heating. Mm-hmm. By the way, if you live in Seattle, fat chance. Good.
Excuse me. Stu is sitting right there.
Good luck to you. You live where it's cloudy and snowy?
No, only if you're off the grid and not participating in America with your neighbors. Then it'll be harder because you'll be completely off the grid. Meanwhile, Here's why we know Glenn's an asshole, but why he's comically an asshole in this conversation. Yeah, Biden's all busy trying to fix the grid for all the Americans that are participating in the country together, but he's totally lost the prepper vote, apparently. Fat chance. DOE, Department of Energy launches new initiative from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law to modernize the national grid. The U.S. Department of Energy launched a Building a Better Grid initiative to catalyze the nationwide development of new and upgraded high-capacity electric transmission lines, as enabled by President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law. Building a Better Grid will work with community and industry stakeholders to identify national transmission needs and support the build-out of long-distance, high-voltage transmission facilities that are critical to reaching Biden's goal of 100% clean energy by 2035 and a zero-emissions economy by 2050. The program will make the U.S. power grid more resilient to the impacts of climate change, increase access to affordable and reliable clean energy, create good-paying American jobs across industry sectors, boosting transmission jobs, which employs over 1 million workers across the country. The foundation of our climate and clean energy goals is a safe, reliable, and resilient electrical grid that is planned hand in hand with community partners and industry stakeholders. I guess that's the fascist part. DOE's new Building a Better Grid initiative is a jobs booster spurred by the bipartisan infrastructure law, and because it became and collaboration with communities to upgrade the nation's grid, connect more Americans to clean electricity and broadband, and reliably move clean energy to where it's needed most. So if you're in a state with natural gas or wind, that can be energy can be transmitted to I guess Seattle and the Yukon or whatever.
Good luck.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Thanks, Glenn. Normally he's so rude.
I have these gigantic solar panels to be able to put this broadcast in my house online, and you still have to change all the light bulbs. You have to change everything. It is literally,
He's going LED. That's what he said. I can't use this old inefficient bullshit. Meanwhile, he's got every fucking light on in the place. Please show the studio that's also running at the same time. Same thing.
My grandfather, you don't need that light. Why do you have that light on? Grandpa, it's really not.
Right. Yes, you're onto something. Glenn, you have just stumbled on an actual thought. Your grandfather used to tell you to turn the goddamn lights off because power was limited, because back then we didn't have all the structures that we had. They had to build them over time, and they were inefficient and expensive at first, and then they got cheaper and more resilient, and we're still improving on it. And solar and wind and geothermal and all these things are exactly in that same place. There's huge advances being made all the time, and they're going to continue. But until they get here, you have to live in the present.
Not costing us. Put the light off.
This is supposed to be a cute story, but what Glenn doesn't know oftentimes is that when he goes into anecdotes, these anecdotes show you what an ignorant asshole he is.
I've become that guy.
Right. And because, not because it was a big deal that your granddad acted like that, but because up till now, Glenn, you didn't give a shit.
Because you just run out. In the winter, you have to go out and you have to scrape all of the ice and the snow off of your solar panel.
No, you don't. You can get heaters on it that run off a battery that's attached to the solar panel that takes an element of the energy from them and uses that. Look who I'm talking to, Mr. SATs.
This is not something America is prepared to do.
No, it's something we're preparing to do. It's like saying, imagine this dude with a horse going, I went to buy oats, and I used to be able to just pick them up and feed them right to my horse. Now it's super expensive because they want everybody to have these cars, and you have to go to a gas station to put fuel in these things. People can't do. There are no gas stations anywhere around here, and there won't be for a long time. And yet they want us.
But because we
They want us to take these, like, they keep talking about trains. So I moved someplace where there are no tracks. Heather, hurrah.
We have a global warming crisis and a power crisis that is growing. Yesterday, Biden invoked something for the second time in his term that hasn't been used since the Korean War.
The National Chopsticks Initiative. I think it's a healthier way to eat. I'm not anti-fork per se, but it seems weird to eat with farming implements. You got a little saw, a pitchfork, and a shovel. It's a weird way to get food in your face. If you can't hold it in those two sticks, it's too big a bite. Slow down. Chew your food.
It is the Defense Production Act.
Yeah, we know.
And here's what it does.
It basically turns him into the solar version of Mussolini.
It allows the president to have emergency powers
that allow him to fly and see through stuff, and he's bulletproof.
To tell companies exactly what they can and cannot do. That is the definition of fascism.
Well, no, because the DPA is temporary. And it's not permeate across an entire thing. They ramp up production. You can't tell them that they can't build that. It allows you to allocate money to get them to focus more on a product we need more of. Dear God.
Definition of fascism. Now, are we
the power of that gun is going to my head. I'm just saying.
Okay with that?
Yeah, we're fine. We'll be okay. Hold on. Let me see. I have to see. Was he at least wearing the Hitler mustache or the Mussolini hat when he did it? Folks, Biden invokes Defense Production Act to boost domestic manufacturing in clean energy grid sectors. Oh, I thought it was just solar panels. The U.S. Department of Energy aims to build up domestic production of solar panels, electric transformers, heat pumps, insulation, and hydrogen-related... Oh, wait the fuck. What? Oh, dear Glenn. Honestly, he literally started like, I'd be totally for it if it was hydrogen and nuclear. And okay. But he's using the DPA to make solar panels. This is never going to work. Under the Defense Production Act, or DPA, sounds kind of dirty. Determinations issued Monday by the White House. The DOE could support these sectors through commitments to buy clean energy products from U.S. manufacturers, direct investments in facilities, and aid for clean energy installation in homes, military sites, and businesses. Charisma Troiano, Department press secretary, said in an email, the Biden administration's move to use its executive power is a game changer that will establish and bolster a manufacturing base to support the renewable energy transition, according to Jean Su, Energy Justice Program Director at the Center for Biological Diversity, which is a series of words that scare the crap. Center, which is politically a nightmare for Glenn, biological, which sounds dirty, body part, penisy, and diversity, which is, that's a 4-letter word in Glenn's house. The DPA, which President Biden has invoked to spur COVID-19 vaccine and electric battery production, so the third time not the second. You lied, Glenn. Lie. He said twice. It's the third time, which means it's the charm. Allows the White House to coordinate with industry to obtain supplies that are deemed to be in the interest of national defense, according to Sue. The White House issued similar DPA determinations for the solar, hydrogen, heat pump, insulation, and grid equipment sectors, ensuring a robust, resilient, and sustainable domestic industrial base. Basically, it's because we passed the infrastructure bill and we don't want to buy the parts that we're going to be installing outside the country, and these people have to be paid ahead of time to start ramping up production in the United States for the supplies they're going to need for the infrastructure bill. And then, yes, this is all good, adult, normal shit. Congress has appropriated about $888 million in DPA funding through the fiscal year 2022 appropriations measures and a Ukraine aid package approved last month, according to Sue. It's obviously not enough, Sue said, noting the Center supports pending legislation that would provide $100 billion in DPA funding to the clean energy sector. The exact tools and mechanics of the programs will vary by technology, market, and funding appropriated by Congress. DOE, working closely with the Department of Defense and others, will lean on its significant experience procuring energy products and distributing, installing, or selling clean energy technologies. That's right. It's all communism. It's all fascism. It's fascist, communist, socialist, gay minority, Burning Man, tattooed, vegan nonsense.
Is this what we want?
This is what you want. This is what you get. This is what you want. This is what you get. This is what you want. This is what you get. This is what you want. This is what you get. Sorry. I'll stop.
A guy who has destroyed everything he has touched, now running our companies and our businesses.
Oh, dear God. He's running our companies and he's not just directing the Defense Production Act to order more things to be made from companies that make them. I'm sure he'll show us an article where companies are being forced to stop what they're doing and build what we want.
And
forcibly, even if they were making more money selling the other shit.
Telling us what we can and cannot produce.
Yes. The people from the DPA showed up and they want to DP your egg, Glenn.
That's what he did yesterday.
Mm-hmm. All my troubles seem so far away.
He also did something else.
Mm-hmm.
He waived all of the solar tariffs yesterday. This is a massive win for China. China makes most of the.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. Whoops. Biden waives solar panel tariffs, seeks to boost production in the USA. President Joe Biden is invoking the DPA to increase U.S. manufacturing of solar panels while declaring a 2-year tariff exemption on panels from Southeast Asia. He's attempting to jumpstart an industry key to his climate change fighting goals that advocates say has been disrupted by a federal investigation. What? The White House announced Monday that the movers are being implemented using executive actions and presidential proclamations. They follow months of complaints by industry groups which argue that the solar sector is being slowed by supply chain problems due to an ongoing Commerce Department inquiry into possible trade violations involving Chinese products. The Commerce Department announced in March that it was scrutinizing imports of solar panels from Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia, concerned that the products from those countries are skirting U.S. anti-dumping rules that limit imports from China. So they're worried that China is actually selling through them, and they wanted to clarify them. What and the holds are on these countries. The innocent until proven guilty is basically the point they're trying to make. White House officials say Biden's actions aim to increase domestic production of solar panel parts, building installation materials, high-efficiency heat pumps, and other components like cells used for clean energy-generated fuels. They called the tariff suspension affecting imports from Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia a bridge measure, while other efforts increase domestic solar power production, even as the administration remains supportive of U.S. trade laws and the Commerce Department investigation. Solar energy companies get fucking hell. Like, they don't even... I mean... For the record, Glenn's house is covered in old Chinese solar panels he bought on the cheap. He bought the large ones, the industrial ones from China, because he thought he was making a deal and they suck. And buying American ones would be kind of a betrayal of, and allowing the Green New Deal to dig its claws into him. Fucking hell. Like that. Listen to this again. Who's this a big gift for? You prick, you.
For China. Tariffs yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
This is a massive win for China.
Oh, yeah? Because the tariffs he's waiving are on Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia.
China makes most of the solar panels.
Yeah, except the ones that are made in Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia.
Okay?
Okay?
They do most of the technology.
They do most of the technology.
Why?
Why? Cheap labor?
Because no matter what anybody tells you, solar energy is very dirty for the earth.
It's dirty. Spanks the earth. Open palm, just whack.
You can't really make them here in America.
Yes, you can.
Because the EPA would lose their mind.
U.S. solar panel manufacturers updated for 2020. Here's a list of companies with solar panels made in the USA in 2020. Hylian, Iron Mountain, Minnesota. Yeah. Mission Solar in San Antonio, Texas. Seraphim in Jackson, Mississippi. Slilflab? Get out of here. Slilflab Solar. Bellingham, Washington. Solaria, Fremont, California. Solar Tech Universal, Riviera Beach, Florida. Solar World Americas. That sounds lovely. Hillsboro. It's where we can all go get our balls tanned in Solar World Americas. America ball tanning first. Sunspark. Oh, I like them. Riverside, California. There you go. Right, they're nearby. I could drive out there to Sunspark. Tesla, Panasonic, Buffalo, New York. Other notable American solar companies: Oxen Solar, San Jose. Certainteed Solar, San Jose. CSUN, McClellan Park, California. First Solar, Perrysburg, Ohio. And Ohio, we got to shut that one down. Clearly, that's got to be moved to Mexico as quickly as possible. Global Solar, Green Brilliance. Hanwha Q Cells in Dalton, Georgia. The only one with a Chinese name, all right, is in Georgia. Marge. Explain yourself. Green Brilliance, Jinko Solar, LG Solar USA in Huntsville, Alabama, home of Rocket City, where Werner von Braun, the Nazi scientist who helped us build some rockets, was shuffled off to, with the other Operation Paperclip Nazis who were trying, well, I mean, they weren't Nazis. They were German scientists forced to work for the Nazis who were trying to escape, and we gave them a place to live and work without having to live with that crap. And by the way, they enjoyed Huntsville because it looks like Deutschland in the springtime. That's a true story, and it does. Insofar as I know, I've never been to this place before. I've been to Deutschland in the springtime. I've only been there into like the winter and the late summer. But okay. Just the important thing is you guys need to remember, you can't make solar panels in America because Mr. Peck will show up, and you can believe Mr. Pecker. My name is Peck, and he'll stop you. He'll shut you down.
But in China, you can do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, except use the rest of the world's internet, speak your mind, and mention Tiananmen Square and say that Taiwan's a country. And if you're Uyghur, leave wherever you are.
So
and get real baby food.
Now they have not only most of all of the minerals that are needed to make these solar panels.
Fuck, this is just dumb. Let's see. One moment. I mean, now I have to set something else up too. No, I don't want molds. I just want. I gotta show because this is good. Most of the and I'll back it up too because this is really good. Say this part, the dumb part again. That's the wrong kind. Hold on. Oh, quit it! I can't type when I'm in a hurry. Okay, I found it. This is good. All right. Say that again, Glenn. Just catch us up, buddy.
China, you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want, buddy. They're freer than we are. Basically, we live in China right now, except they have the better version of it because it's with Chinese characteristics.
So now they have not only most of all of the minerals that are needed to make these solar panels.
Most of all of the minerals that are needed to make these. The first generation of solar photovoltaic modules was made from silicon with a crystalline structure, and silicon is still one of the widely used materials in solar photovoltaic technology. The research on silicon materials is constantly growing, which is mainly focused on improving its efficiency and sustainability. Monocrystalline and multicrystalline silicon are the two most basic types of crystal silicon used in solar photovoltaics. Amorphous silicon, and then you go to cadmium and tellurium are also used to develop solar photovoltaics. They're mixed in a specific ratio to develop cadmium and telluride solar cells and are considered the most effective thin film material due to their ideal band gap of 1.45 eV and longer stability. Aluminum, antimony, and lead are also used in solar photovoltaics. Okay, that's your primaries, okay? This is your primary you're going to see. All right. Solar cell production from silicon wafer to... from what? In our earlier article about the production cycle of solar panels, we provided a general outline about the standard procedure to make solar PV modules from the second most abundant mineral on Earth, quartz. In chemical terms, quartz consists of combined silicon-oxygen tetrahedra crystal structures of silicon dioxide, the very raw material needed for making solar cells. The production process for raw quartz to solar cells involves a range of steps, starting with the recovery and purification of silicon, followed by slicing into utilized discs, the silicon wafers that are further processed and ready to assemble for solar cells. I'm just a cell. Yes, I'm only a cell. but I'm no use to Glenn on the hill where he is buying diesel gas and it ain't doing the job today. All right. It's fucking this the primary ingredient in solar cells is the fuck, man. It's the second most abundant material on Earth next to carbon.
They can make them with slaves.
They can make them with slaves. I don't think you can convert a slave into silicon. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, if they do, you can't sell them over here, fucko. As a matter of fact, the fact that they can't might keep them from using those slaves to do it. On December 23rd, 2021, President Biden signed into law a bill and a law that could have been passed while Trump was in office and he just didn't give a fuck. The Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, a bipartisan bill to ensure that goods made with forced labor in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of the People's Republic of China do not enter the United States market. The law is a direct response to reports of Uyghurs and other Turkic minorities being subjected to forced labor, slavery, and other atrocities, and is to prevent U.S. businesses and consumers from becoming complicit in the atrocities. Earlier this year, the U.S. Senate Department recognized the atrocities against the Uyghurs as genocide and crimes against humanity. And yeah, that's cotton. That picture right there, yeah, if you want, I mean, Uyghurs are picking cotton. You were saying, Glenn?
And they can make them in hellholes that they don't care about the environment at all.
What you mean, like Ted Nugent's house?
But
Hal, check out perovskite. Yeah, Drywit Geek, we've talked about perovskite solar cells once before. It's amazing. It's a huge step forward. But that's for day one, Drywit Geek, when we're making sense. We're talking to Glenn Beck right now. This is all jackassery and gibberish. Do you realize that everyone who normally watches The Blaze threw their television out the window or whatever device they use to watch this nonsense on as soon as he said it was powered, the Blaze is powered by solar?
We had some really bad tariffs against these solar panels, and so now we have to get rid of those.
No, these are unrelated, different countries. They were suspecting that China was just shipping through these countries using leverage instead of us buying the ones that are made in these actual countries. The Biden administration is giving them the benefit of the doubt in those countries, because even if they get a tariff from, they have to pay to pretend they're going through Cambodia. They have to pay the Cambodians to do that. Arguably, that eliminates any profit they might make off of lowering the labor costs by doing awful anyway. So it's counterproductive for them to keep doing it. It would change their labor practices and cause them to move in a positive direction in theory anyways. And the removal and the tariffs that were placed is based on the suspicion that they're doing it, we don't actually know. But Glenn doesn't actually read this shit. What is he going to do? Ask Stu?
So now the Chinese have us buy the you-know-what on solar panels.
That sounds like it would burn. You mean like this? This is, by the way, this is live footage of an autonomous robot STEM acting on behalf of the Chinese government, meeting with the U.S. trade representative from the Department of Energy, and Just saying. Yeah, it's a good point, Abraham. I don't know why Biden just doesn't fire up the Jewish space lasers on the moon and just heat up the moon and turn it into another sun so that we always have light 24/7. I mean, obviously all the plants would die, but we'd have more solar energy so we could eat fake plants.
Russia has us buy the same things now on energy.
I'm trying to make that sentence make sense. It just doesn't.
Mexico, Saudi Arabia.
Oh no, not Mexico.
And
That's a different kind of energy. You'll have to talk to Don Jr. about that kind of energy.
And Russia have all of the control of the oil. And
No, they don't.
are they helping us? Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, if only, good point, Glenn. None of these countries that produce oil are interested in helping us. It might actually behoove us to lower our need for fossil fuels that we get from other places, or even our participation in that world market, if we could generate all the energy that we have at home by renewable sources that don't fuck up our environment or ruin our waterways or make us have to bury the waste in Yucca Mountain for fucking 10,000 years.
Meanwhile, we leave all of our resources, all of our minerals, all of our companies, all of the brains that we have, all of the brawn that we have, all of the oil and natural gas resources.
Yeah, don't forget the baby batter in those freshly cooked nuts.
In the ground.
How did we get our brawn and our brains and our balls in the ground? And also, the fuck we do.
Is America, is this who we want to become?
What? Yes, I agree. America, we don't want to become this farcical bullshit version of reality that Glenn Beck believes exists.
By the way, this is not the only emergency.
What? No, Glenn. No. This is the only emergency. Okay? Malaysian solar panels are coming into the country. Forget the caravan. Forget Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Forget a worldwide food epidemic that is going to wipe out 1 billion people. It's not important. Malaysian solar panels, Glenn. This is it. You got one job.
I'm telling you, I will be shocked if by the end of the
I'll be shocked if I pee on the transformer for my solar panels because they are clearly not insulated properly.
year we don't hear coming out of the president's mouth a declaration of a national global warming emergency. That will give him all kinds of power. They are already setting it up. That's what they're using here for this directive.
No, they aren't. That's not what they're using at all. They're speeding up production because solar panels are already being made in the world, and many of them are being made in China. They could be made here, but they need seed money for these factories to get up and running. And during the Trump administration, they intentionally stepped on that idea. So Biden's just making up for lost time from the Obama administration when they were trying to move in this direction. So he's just making up for he's picking up the slack, as it were. But the rest of this is just to build the grid and make sure that the stuff that we use to make all this, do all this stuff, the companies have a foothold. By the way, Glenn was gargling Elon Musk's nuts for weeks about the Twitter buy and all this stuff. And I would like to remind this dipshit that Tesla does not exist without the Obama administration's bailout of the auto industry after 2008, because the Obama administration insisted on supporting electric car manufacturers while they were bailing out Ford and Chevy and
A climate emergency. we're going to have a food emergency by the end of the year
Yeah, I hear Sonic's not going to be open on Sundays anymore. It just tried to go after that MAGA dollar.
as well. I don't know if you've been following this, but please do.
What am I following?
We're about now 8 weeks away from knowing for sure what's going to happen.
Oh, all right. Do tell. We're about 8 weeks away from knowing what's going to happen in 8 weeks. Isn't that true? Every 8 weeks? Unless you're psychic and always right.
Yesterday, we had
all your troubles seem so far away.
Russia bomb one of the ports where a lot of the Ukrainian wheat leaves.
Wheat. Fields of wheat.
NATO, the United Nations, and we have even hinted that if they block the Russian wheat
Look at this shitty solar show. Look at this. Wait, why is Glenn glitching, but the background is fine? Oh my God. Is this the day we all find out that Glenn Beck is actually an AI algorithm created character? And we all fell for it.
The Ukrainian wheat, steal the Ukrainian wheat, destroy the Ukrainian wheat, or stop boats from picking it up and shipping it to the rest of the world. That will be an act of war. Well, we are 12 weeks away from that. Sorry, 8 weeks now.
Oh, shit. I thought I had an extra month.
And the former NATO chief yesterday said, you are going to see another front open in the Ukrainian conflict. It will include escorting grain tankers in and out of Odessa. He said, I think that will be taken by the United Nations, by NATO, and the United States and our allies. But it will be a new front in the war that will emerge over the next few weeks.
Excuse me. It's precisely 8 weeks. Glenn said 12 weeks. 8 weeks.
When that happens, anything that goes wrong with that wheat.
Yeah. If the bread doesn't rise, if the biscuits aren't crispy, if they don't have that flakiness when you open them up and the steam comes out.
If
mushroom sauce.
Russia doesn't let it out of Ukraine, if we lose a ship of that wheat.
Yeah. And so we need to make sure all the captains know where they're going.
Wheat.
And they all, you know what you should do is get those little Apple tags. So in case we lose one of them, it can chirp. You can walk around going, and you're, like, there it is. I found the boat full of wheat.
Prices will go.
By the way, the Russian war on foodstuffs is a serious thing. I am, just to clarify, not joking about that. I'm joking about this asshole pretending that he knows any fucking thing about any of it or actually cares. This asshole wants to be off the grid in the United States. What the fuck are you talking about? What kind of pirate island, like Peter Thiel oil rig horse shit is this? You're an American. Act like it. We have nice things. Participate, help out, and stop being a dick.
The roof, and starvation will happen in Africa. What happens to our military when all of Africa is on fire because they're starving to death?
This is the day we all find out that Glenn thinks black people burst into flames when they're hungry. That's what caused the targets to burn down during the job. Oh, I figured it out. It all makes sense now. Thanks, Glenn.
Why is our government taking on diesel right now and saying, no, we got to get away from this petroleum stuff? Why are they doing it when starvation is around the corner?
Well, they aren't. Why do you think they are?
Because of war.
What? okay, this is gotta be. He can't be this dumb. I mean, we know he's dumb, but he can't be this dumb. I mean, he dresses himself, and this is what he comes up with. So maybe I'm all right, but they literally hold on. They're not. They're reacting to what's actually happening in the world. They're not like, oh, well, that's it. You know what? Sorry. You just got to convert away from diesel overnight.
We cannot, as Americans, stand by
Oh, I'm sorry. You're still an American? I thought you lived off the grid on a piece of ground away from everyone else because fuck the rest of us.
while the world starves, and we have the ability to do something about it. But for the very first time, we have seen now Germany send an airlift of baby food to Texas this week.
Right, because they didn't have a place shut down because of an outbreak of salmonella and what's the whole Bacter virus? I've got the name of the fucking drone stuck in my head. Michigan baby food outbreak. The Chronobacter, right? I thought it up right before I wait. Scrolling. Yep, Chronobacter. Sakazaki. Chronobacter Sakazaki. And salmonella, right? Yeah, see, the Germans didn't have that problem. So the Biden administration reached out to them until we can get this plant back up online. Then this plant's coming back online, and we arranged with them. We've helped them before too, you know. I'm just saying, Germany might owe us a favor.
And you're about to see the most charitable, the most giving, the most powerful nation on the planet not have the ability to help feed starving people all around the world.
Easy, Glenn. You talk like that, you're going to give Rand Paul an erection.
And I love the fact that the Biden administration is saying this is not going to affect the United States and the hunger here in the United States. Are you out of your mind? We're not going to be starving here in the United States.
Right.
But if you think that
you think you're going to have the kind of variety of Otter Pops that you're expecting, you're going to go to the store and Diet Dr. Pepper is going to miss some of its slight caramelized color when you hold it up to see what kind of nose it has. It's going to be you can't expect, if you want flaming hot Cheetos, there's going to be something about it. There aren't going to be enough phosphates.
A third of the world could be starving to death, and we're going to be paying normal, even half rational prices for food? You're crazy.
Well, what's rational in a situation where there's worldwide starvation? And by the way, the fact that you fucking have food and you have a functioning society in that circumstance, count your goddamn blessings, you ingrate.
Oh, and by the way, it won't just be Africa. It will also be Central America. It'll be parts of Mexico and South America. So don't.
By the way, I know what chart he's talking about. Hold on one second. Let's see if the hold on. I saw it the other day. There's a specific, it's one that's been making the rounds. Global hunger index. Okay, and then the upside of it. Okay, the potential for the rush with Yeah, here's the tracking global hunger thing. Or this is what he's talking about. This one right here. That this is where it's going to go into, and they're leveraging it. Let's see if they bring this up on any interactive map, traffic, world hunger, food insecurity, the varying degrees, the hunger map. I do this. Here you go. This is people. I mean, you know, this is kept track of so that the UN, USAID, NGOs can help. Yeah, not that Glenn gives a rat's ass. Let's see, maps. Where's this guy? Maps. Okay, this has got to be in here. Hold on. Chronic hunger, fight to feed the world. Yeah, waste lives is all well. Okay, so this they deal with this all the time. This is cool. This is a great organization. They're just basically tracking it all the time. But what they're worried about is any place that is conflict alerts, countries with greater than or equal to 1 fatality to 200,000 in the last 30 days. This is this purple. So this is where basically war-torn areas. These are always problems throughout here. That affected is Mexico because they just had a big shooting and yada yada. Countries with foreign cases, okay, COVID, and then climate alerts, and then percentage of people living in areas with significant excess rainfall, which is interesting. Prevalence of insufficient consumption, current food consumption, rainfall. Okay. They have a breakout map of this that is basically saying that all these areas where you normally have this, here and here, Peru, Bolivia, this up through Central America over here, this line across Africa, and then over here in parts of Asia, that's where you're going to see the majority of the hunger issues. So that's what he's stop blaming. How to explain to a friend that soaring gas prices are the plan under ESG? Oh my God.
Worry about any problems on our border. This is what's coming, and it's coming this fall.
Coming this fall, the new NBC sitcom, Glenn at the Border, wondering where he can eat a diesel sandwich today. This whole thing is just Glenn buying into this off-the-grid idea and buying cheap secondhand shit or getting it rigged up by some asshole prepper friend that is convincing him that you got to be able to, I mean, if you really want to lock it down, you're going to need a diesel generator. That's the big shit because you can always get that. There are always going to be trucks. So he went with diesel instead of a fucking natural gas line or, or running too much off of geothermal. He wanted to live away from everything. So that's why he's not near any water.
Please, America.
Please, America. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm in the business of. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my job to please America. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. That was the end of that. Well, there was a little tad bit left. I don't think. Please America. He was going to say something else.
Prepare.
Oh, man. He was watching the fucking clock. What a creep. Watch that. Look, he's got a clock on his desk that tells him when it's time to go to a hard break. Please America. Prepare. This is, again, he's a doom farmer. He's a fear farmer. That's he and Rusty Rockets. They're all in the same business.
This fall. Please, America, prepare.
Go to break. That's what he's pointing at. Go to break right when I say it, because I want it to be nice and dramatic before we sell my prepper food that will give you, breakaway diarrhea that'll wreck a chemical toilet. It's almost like fighting fire with fire.